Good afternoon, gentlemen, and I hope your 3-day weekend was amazing. So, as you know, on October 12th, we will be beginning back to school 100%. So, I'm trying to get through Unit 2 before we do that. However, today our focus is our vaping article follow up. I'm going to give you some more information. You're going to practice and review for the Unit 2 test. Now, I had a conversation with you guys after our first test that I want to give you a way to kind of recover some of those points. And so with that, I'm actually going to have the Unit 2 test as a take-home test. I will be giving you a copy of the test, and you have 1 week to complete it. With that, I mean, you can use the internet, you can use your notes, our Unit 2 packet, all the lectures. You have everything at your disposal, and you can talk to your classmates then. I will be making it out of 50 points total, so it won't be the same weight as a regular test. However, I am hoping that you can recover some points because you do have a week to complete it. But you will be given a physical copy in class, and those of you that are online, I'll have a conversation with you separately to make sure you can get it, so that way it doesn't kind of mess up on notability, because sometimes when I plug in equations, they just don't show up. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to get that to you. So we'll talk. But for those of you, I do kind of plan on going through a little review today. And then your homework is you're actually going to post to a vaping article discussion board that is on Canvas. So let me get into it. And these notes are all with vaping, but I just think it's important to kind of follow up with it. In lab, we're going to be doing Alka-Seltzer cannons. However, you have everything you need to be successful for the test. So vaping, I'm going to move myself to this corner. Hello, hi, I'm here. So, a Utah teen will never touch a vape again after nearly dying of severe lung illness. So, I know that vaping is something that has kind of come out in the last couple years. It became more popular, especially when I was in college. I didn't have it around in high school. It was kind of a rumor that there were e-cigs out, but vaping in the past few years has gained a lot of traction. And so I wanted to discuss this because understanding chemistry really helps you understanding the dangers behind vaping, like this Utah teen. And I hope you kind of could learn a lot of that stuff going through the articles that I assigned. So the goals for this discussion that I'm kind of leading is I need you to be more chemically informed of risks. Being in chemistry, it really lets you understand a lot of these things with a lot more background knowledge, and you can kind of understand the dangers really by understanding that. I also have a zero tolerance policy for vaping jokes or references for the rest of the year in our class. I've had friends that have had accidents with vaping personally, and so it's just something that I want you to be chemically informed, but please don't make jokes, especially because we just saw that article. It can be dangerous for some people. I have a cousin that it would be dangerous for, specifically when I think about it. And so I just don't have any tolerance for those jokes because they are hurtful in the end of the day. I also believe that you should be able to support those in the classroom and in the building that may be challenged with vaping issues. If you yourself have vaping issues, please go seek help, because addiction is something that you really can't just go, oh, haha, I'm gonna drop it cold turkey. Addiction is something really serious. And so if you do need help and this kind of discussion helps push you like, hey, maybe I do have a problem, you can reach out to the counselors here at Creighton Prep. I know they have a vaping group of students that are kind of growing through and giving up vaping because they were challenged with it. So if you feel you need to go see someone, I definitely recommend meeting with our counselors. They're amazing. I'm going to be 100% honest. The counselors you guys have here at Prep truly are wonderful, and they are down here to help you, and they're not judging you. They really are there to just benefit you, and if you're struggling, they're going to be there for you. So this is important to know. So chemicals in the cartridge. That's a word. So before we do anything, there's the flavors, there's the colors, there's that buttery flavoring, there's the polyethylene glycol, there's propylene glycol, and then there's FDA approved as food, not in the lungs. So this is all before. That's just everything that's in it. And by themselves, they're not really dangerous. You know, I can have flavorings for suckers pretty much, or coloring, but like all these things, they're not dangerous until they're all combined in our vape. because it's similar to a combustion engine. As it reaches 130 to 250 degrees Celsius, we have all these reactions going on that kind of form all these things that are not really harmful into formaldehyde or ac- um, acetaldehyde and manganese and nickel and chromium, and our bodies can't process those chemicals, and they're dangerous for us. Like, here's a great example. I have my little danger sign right here. I'm going to push myself back up. Danger. Formaldehyde can cause cancer. It causes skin, eye, and respiratory irritation. And it's not safe for your lungs or your body. Ultimately, when we have all these things before, there's those bonds breaking. We have that chemical change that's happening, and it makes it into something new. But when things are made into something new, that doesn't mean that it's always still safe for us. It can become dangerous. And our body can't, I spelled nickel wrong, can't go over and, you know, we can't process manganese, nickel, chromium. These are our transition metals right here. We can't process those in our body. We can't process formaldehyde and all these hides. They're not safe for us. And so it's really important to know that what it might be before isn't bad, but once you get addicted and once it's going through your system, you can't process it. It's dangerous. Chemistry and vaping, the chemical changes are high kinetic energy gas. Remember, we talked about this. Gas has the highest kinetic energy out of any state of matter. Liquid and solid have low kinetic energies, but gases, they are not safe for us. Because of that high kinetic energy, our body can't process that, because it's dangerous. It's like you don't go and you can drink some water, but you don't go drink a gas kind of idea. And the temperatures are similar to that combustion engine. They're reaching 130 to 250 degrees. And these are the same temperatures reaching during vaping, which it's not safe for your lungs. The gas molecules are high energy to begin with, so adding more energy can cause those toxic results like we saw. The creation of formaldehyde, the different hides are chromium or nickel or manganese. I think about it this way. I have a cousin. He is in preschool. I love him with my whole heart. But he has cystic fibrosis. And when I think about him, his lungs are not functioning as my lungs would. He has a buildup in mucus. They're not getting rid of the mucus as fast, and he could get it filled up. So he has to wear this vest. He has to take all this medicine. He has to take enzymes, all these things so his lungs can work for him. And when you're vaping, you're taking all these chemicals and you're ruining your lungs. So your lungs can't function much like my cousins can, where you have to have all this assistance just to survive. And it's not worth the risk. Going through a lung transplant, especially because my cousin will have to do this one day, he has it medically. But think about, you're taking, like, if you need new lungs, that's a crazy procedure. Getting new organs is so crazy. You're on a waiting list. You want to make sure you make it. There's no certainty that you will be getting a set of lungs. It's something that is very terrifying to think about. But think about if you're on your deathbed and because of vaping, you need to get new lungs. Your body can't function properly because it was taking in all these harmful chemicals and all these harmful temperatures and all these things that were going wrong, when you can at least prevent it by avoiding something as dangerous and toxic as vaping. It's something that you really need to consider when you're going to get into this. And I understand addiction is something that's very difficult. However, you can avoid addiction by avoiding those things that you can get addicted to, such as cigarettes, because it has an addictive chemical, nicotine, in it. So avoiding a lot of those things that kind of push you to addiction can really help save your life down the line. Because while my cousin might have to get a lung transplant, you can avoid getting a lung transplant by avoiding these toxic chemicals in a vape and by becoming chemically aware of the things that you're putting in your body. So it really is up to you to take that step forward to avoid taking these temperatures and taking this high kinetic energy and these harmful substances into your system. There's other things to consider when you pick up a vape or just anything in general that you don't know is, should these chemicals be inhaled? Should formaldehyde be inhaled? Should chromium and manganese and nickel be inhaled? They shouldn't. Will these chemicals change my DNA? You don't want to change your DNA code, because changing your code is something that is incredibly harmful, because your code is what makes you you. You can add to your code. So, for example, if I get a virus, if I had COVID, for example, I can take a piece of that code to help protect me. But I don't change my code. But changing my code, as simple as changing an A and a T, has drastic effects that are super dangerous. Another thing, will these chemicals change the way my cells behave? So think of like a fibroblast study. Your cells are something that they work to try to help you. Think about lung cells. If you're destroying your lung cells, you're not able to protect your lungs as well because you're destroying them. And so making sure that you know it's not changing the way your cells are going to function or behave, that can really help save your life. Will I be able to quit? Again, addiction is something difficult. We have groups here if you're already struggling with it. However, you don't want to get addicted to something that is ultimately harmful. It's nice to get like addicted to chocolate sometimes because haha, it's funny. However, that consuming chocolate could be my addiction. However, it's not hurting me. But if I picked up vaping, that's something that would be really difficult to quit because I could stop eating chocolate, but vaping, I couldn't really get rid of vaping because it's something I'm addicted to. You'd get those jitters and you'd want to do it. And so it's important to know, can I get addicted? And consider all those things because is it worth getting addicted over if it's going to change your life? Another thing is, are they regulated by the FDA? Well, the chemicals we looked at that are going into the cartridge before, those are regulated as food, not to our lungs. We can have those added to food. We can't have that added to vape to make it safe for us. So it's not really regulated by the FDA. And then the last thing I think is so important is, what do I know for sure right now? If you don't know how this might affect you, or think about when you're trying to do something different in your life, you do a lot of research over it because you need to know what everything is going in, all the different things coming in and output for you. And so making sure that you know this is ultimately like safe for me or this is unsafe is something important. So it's kind of like going all through those questions. Okay, I know these. What else don't I know? And making a very informed and educational decision based on it instead of just doing what your friends might want you to do. All right, so I know that's a lot of information. Vaping is something crazy serious, and it's something that you should consider because there's a lot of harmful effects with it. But I want you to take this moment and you're going to go into Canvas and you're going to be responding to your own post. So you'll make a post and you'll go, oh, blah, blah, blah. I think this was really interesting from the article, or this is something I learned, or this is a question I have that I want to research more about. And then I hope that you guys are my first class, so I know there might not be many, but those of you that have had this later in the week, there will be more posts. I want you to make a post in response to someone as well, so you can go under their post, comment, and be like, oh, I think that was an excellent point. I noticed this in the article and it related to it. I do ask when you make a response, please don't just say, I like this point, thanks for saying that. Please give like an informed point back. So let's say if they say, oh, I learned how harmful these chemicals are in my body, you can say, well, I think that's really interesting. I agree. I didn't realize nickel was so harmful for my body. Just show something that you read it instead of just saying, like, great point. You know, that's all I ask for. So make a post, respond to one, and then you get full credit. With that, I talked about the Unit 2 test review, and so this is for you going into when you have the take-home portion, but I just want this as a reminder for you. So physical property, think your 5 senses, no new bonds formed, and it's always reversible. So if it's physical, I can reverse it back. I can put it back to how I saw it at the first time. Where if it's chemical, it's how does this substance react? How are new bonds formed? And it's never reversible. So I can't go back to my starting point. So with physical, it's like, oh, if I mess up, I'll roll it back in the ball. If it's chemical and I mess up, I need new chemicals. I have to start over completely. Another thing, make sure you know the organization and kinetic energy of the 3 states of matter, so our solid, liquid, gas. Again, you can go to a previous lecture with that. Make sure you know the diatomic gases as well. So remember, these are our diatomic elements, excuse me. These are our 2 are 7 elements that have 2 of them, and they're always shown in 2 in nature. So it's always hydrogen, oxygen, fluorine, bromine, iodine, nickel, and chlorine. So remember that those always come into 2s. What else? Yes. I will be posting a practice quiz in Canvas for you to complete. Actually, scratch that. I'm not going to, because you will have the take-home test. So no more practice test. You'll have that take-home test to complete it. However, you do have all of your homework, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Please know the states of matter, the physical chemical properties and changes, the evidence of chemical reactions, our law of conservation of mass, and you need to explain everything at the particle level. Remember, you need to do the discussion board and study, but in this way you complete it. So if your notes are not complete, make sure that you take the time to do that. However, your test is open note, so you'll be able to use everything. It's take home, so you have absolutely everything you need. Here is the post. When you do this, I know it might look a little bit different. However, you can reply to my original discussion board right here, and that's how you'll make your post. So I'm just gonna throw this out like, I didn't realize how harmful vaping was. I love when I spell those, harmful vaping was. Okay, I'm gonna post that reply. So you'll post your reply, and when you're ready, you can reply to someone. Or I also have the like button, so if there's any points that you've kind of already seen, you can also like it, but please make sure you reply to the discussion board. And if you have to delete it, you can delete it. But so make sure you do this, and then when I see you in person, you'll have that take-home test. For those of you that already have the take-home test, hey, how you doing? I kind of went over some stuff. Make sure you go back through. I will be posting the slides, so that way you guys have the slides for your need. I'll make sure that it's kind of edited. But other than that, you guys will have everything you need to complete the test. But remember, you're going to get it face-to-face. If you're quarantining, or if you're at home because you're virtual, I will figure out the best way to get that to you. However, until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.